Okay. Now, bare knuckle was like 150 years ago, and then they got outlawed. And then there were underground circuits like I fought in, these guys fought in, where guys would show up, they'd fight, you know, sometimes it was big money, big purse, sometimes you're just fighting for the Russian mob, you know what I mean? And sometimes they're gypsy fights, sometimes they're backyard brawls. But they were underground, nobody ever saw them. And they're illegal. And if you got caught doing them, they're like pit, you know, like you get the same, it's worse than pit bull fighting. You get in a lot of trouble. This next man is personally my favorite bare knuckle fighter of all time. He's a legend, and this guy gave his life. He is no longer with us. And what he did is he went on YouTube and he took a crew with him and he started fighting guys in the backyards. Right? And you know what happened? It clicked once, it clicked twice, and then they got about 30, 40, 50, 60 million views. And everybody, even if you haven't fought, you've heard this name. And this name strikes fear even into the heart of Bobby Gunn. And people argue who would have won, but Kimbo never lost. And who's heard of Kimbo Slice in here? When you think of bare knuckle fighting, who do you think of? Who do you think of? Kimbo Slice, right? Well, guess who we get? I can't even talk, I'm so damn excited. Guess who we got here? Kimbo Slice Jr. So, everybody stand up again, and let's hear it for Kimbo! Yeah! Let's bring him up here. Girlfriend, come on up. Come on up. I turned around and I said, I gotta find this man, right? And this man gave his life for fighting. Everybody in this room knows who Kimbo is. He gave his life for fighting, and now his son's doing the same thing. And if you ever watched the Dada and the Kimbo fight, respect. Respect. They went at it. They went at it so bad, neither one of them could ever fight again. That's how bad they went at it. It was bragging rights of Florida. And that's a rough state, man, because they all be fighting in the backyard brawls, you know. So I'm going to give the microphone to the one and only Kimbo Slice Jr. Give it up!
Thank you, man. It's a great event, and just want to thank everyone that showed up, and all the fighters, and you know, and the Bodyguard. And rest in peace if anyone lost someone. You know, it's always hard. But like you said, that first fight, you know, it was him versus Big D. You know, it's funny because his name over there, but right. But it wasn't even supposed to be recorded. You know, it was pretty funny because it was in like one of the roughest hoods in Paran, Florida. And the dude, Big D, he was fresh out of jail. You know, and he was a bully, and everyone was scared of him, and he was beating up everyone on the street. And my uncle actually was in the city of Paran and ran into him. And he said, "Oh, I got somebody for you to fight." And then he was like, "Well, let me fight him." And then, you know, that money got involved, and it was, you know, they was betting. So the original plan was for the dude, Big D, said he was gonna knock my dad out and take and rob everybody. You know, that was the plan. So my dad went in there. If you watch the video, you know, if you haven't seen it, you know, everybody should like go look at it on YouTube. Kimbo Slice versus Big D. But my dad went in there, you know, angry with bad intentions just because of what the dude said, you know. So he didn't want to be friends. He didn't want none of that. And my manager, which was my dad's manager, is Icy Mike. He said, you know, let's record it. Like, you know, let's see what happened. And originally, my dad wasn't going to be a fighter. You know, he wanted to play football, and he had his own security service, Team Kimbo Security, and he was just doing it for extra money. And so they, you know, they got out the Hummer, and they was recording the whole fight. And you know, my dad he went straight into it. You know, no handshaking, like let's fight. And he hit him with a 4-punch combination. And I don't think the dude has ever been hit like that before.
That was it.
Because after that, he wanted to shake hands right after the combination. And my dad was like, nah, no shaking hands. Like, you know, let's fight. And you know, long story short, my dad broke his orbital bone and also cracked it. So his eye was gone in a sense. You know, he didn't have no eyeball, and to this day, his eye is still messed up from that. You know, and that was the fight. Then when YouTube first started, it was my dad was the biggest thing, and it was 2 babies called Charlie Bit Me. Yeah, right. And it was those videos, and those videos was going viral on YouTube. And ever since then, skies was the limit. They started fighting and recording, and I was around it my whole life. So I've been around the underground scene and the professional scene, and all I knew was fighting. So that's what made me want to be a fighter. I grew up into this. So, and I fight now for Bellator. My next fight will be in September.
Nancy, beautiful Nancy over there. She's going to present you with an award. Well, what does it say? Excuse me.
Oh, you trying to trip me now?
There you go now. Show that to the audience.
Award for you, your family.
So it's the legend Kimbo Slice and Kimbo Slice Jr. and the brave and the loyal. Because if it wasn't for your dad, we wouldn't be here. That's right. And you know what? Much respect because, and please stand up, Gabe. Come here. Bring Gabe up. This guy right here is a current champion, MMA champ. He fought a guy so rough he broke his hand on his head and still won. Okay? He's a current champ, and I said, I'd love to find Kimbo Slice's son. He goes, oh, I'm working out with him Friday. I'll give you his number.
Funny story. So here's a funny story about Gabe, right? So we went to Big Bear for training. This was my first training camp ever. And Gabe was there at Big Bear. And every morning he got up and ran, and if you go to Big Bear, you know that altitude is no joke. And I thought he was crazy, and I'm like, Gabe, man, why do you do that? He's like, to get in shape, to stay in shape. So I tried to keep up with him one morning, and I had to stop, and I turned around, and Gabe asked me, he's like, where you at? He's like, where did you go, man? Where you was at? And I was like, oh, my bad, I caught a cramp. But I couldn't keep up, man. I couldn't keep up.
Oh, that's a great story, man. Everybody, you know what? We got that. There's one more person I want to bring up here right now. Come on up here, you. This pretty lady.
Yes, legend.
And I'll tell you what.
Come on.
Woo! Hey, Cynthia.
Come on up here. Do you know who this is? Who is it? Remember Eisenberg on Bacon Bad said, what's my name? What's her name? That's Cynthia Rothrock. Come on. Is this legit? Is this legit? We got Cynthia Rothrock, Kimbo Slice Jr., and Gabe Green on stage at the same time. Champions. Thank you so much for coming. Would you like to say something?
Oh, sure.
Mr. Kimbo Slice?
It's an honor to be here. When Kevin first asked me to come, he said for bare knuckle fighters, and every time there's like fighters or tough guys, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. But this is like really tough. I feel like I'm in with the baddest of the baddest. Hearing shark, dragon, the gun, all this stuff. It's like I feel like I'm in a movie. But I'm really honored to be here. I have so much respect for all you guys, and the thing that really, really impresses me is that the love of God here. That everybody is so. Into God, and I'm so happy for that. So like I say to everybody, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to meet you, and God bless, and stay safe.
Amen. Right, thank you. Let's hear it. Kimbo Slice, Nancy Rodriguez, Cynthia Rothrock, and Gabe Gifted